I'm interested in talking about that because you talked about the power of blindness before kind of stepping into a new place. And that part of the transformative moments in our lives and how we understand God, ourselves,
Sure.
the world, it involves a period of blindness. And could you tell me one of those moments of blindness that have stuck with you or lingered long enough that you really weren't the same after?
I mean, for Paul, it was an epiphanal moment that was around this whole axis of literal blindness and darkness. I think for me, it's more, the analogy that I take is, I grew up on a diet of Christianity that was essentially all about the light. It's all about seeing, understanding, knowing, and coming to the light. I mean, we don't sing hymns about come to the darkness, it will set you free. It's like come to the light, and Jesus is the light of the world. He's not the darkness of the world.
I know, it'd really be a difficult offering call.
It would,
come
wouldn't
to
it?
the darkness, your life sucks, give us your money.
But actually, I'd give more money if that was sung.
Yeah, I think you're in the minority.
I know, but so for me, I think we rush too quickly to the light. And I think one of the lessons that I've come to in life and in engaging spirituality is the role that not knowing, darkness, lack of self-awareness, lack of self-consciousness really plays in this. And I think there are strategic moments when you come to the end of a particular light and things go dark. You sort of can't see. And those are the moments when you're tempted to move quickly towards familiar light. And I think for Paul, in that story, that's precisely what he's doing. He knows the light. The light is he's going to go from Jerusalem, he's going to hunt down the Christians, stamp them out. And then he hits this thing and either falls off a horse or doesn't fall off a horse, who cares? But he has this moment, and the world is turned on him. Suddenly, all of the external stuff is taken away, and he's forced to go inside. So he's breathing and seething with power that's been given to him, and then it's completely taken away. He has to be led by the hand, and he has to be fed, and he sits in darkness for 3 days with himself. And of course, the analogies of the 3 days, we immediately go, oh, it's a resurrection story, it's in the Bible.
Oh, I could preach that.
Indeed.
Oh.
But there's a larger idea that 3 days represents a sort of creative arc, a sense of coming to who you are as a person. And I just don't think you can get there without an awareness of your own darkness and to entertain the darkness. And I don't mean, oh, should I go to a nightclub? I'm not talking about that stupid darkness. I'm talking about the darkness that comes as a challenge to everything you know and you are.
So how does a faith community or a minister or a group of friends let people sit in their darkness? Because isn't our temptation, like Job's friends, to go up and go, well, here's the answer. Here's my Bible verse. Here's my science facts. Here's my this. Here's my that. And let's fix the blindness.
Fixing people is not our job. It's not the church's job to fix people. It's to make space where I think people can fix themselves. And I think the challenge is, A, to realize that everybody has darkness. Now, there are times of darkness, and there are times when you feel freer. But community is made when we're in solidarity and empathy with people, not when we're constantly running around. I don't want to be fixed all the time. In fact, and most of the people that want to fix you don't know what the they're doing with their own life. So why they think they can sort out your life?
It's easier.
It's always easier to fix somebody else, absolutely. But it also it can be very. I mean, one of the things that I find quite troubling is the difficulty that churches have with people in crisis. We don't know how to, which is why I think AA groups work better than churches most of the time, because they're built around the idea we all have darkness and we all know we've got it and we're all trying to manage it, and we're going to do it together.
And why is it that today a lot of kind of theologians and people that are wrestling and trying to think, what does authentic or life-giving community and stuff look like today? It's not this pristine picture of the church, the most efficient one or anything. It's the one where brokenness is on a display, and and brokenness being present is celebrated. To me, that was why the curves in your pictures were so exciting,
Sure.
is because something that completely doesn't make sense all of a sudden becomes why you're there. Because you know how not to get lost in brokenness and fragility and things like that.
I have to say, many, many years ago, somebody gave me a piece of advice. They said, never trust someone who doesn't have a limp. And I've never forgotten that. And I think it's actually one of the truest pieces of advice anybody ever gave me. And I don't really trust people who have their act together.